It's been 80 years and there's been 12 generations since the Suburban first burst on the scene, and many consider these body-on-frame behemoths to be out-of-date dinosaurs. However, there's still a dedicated customer base, and last year's sales actually rebounded a bit and over 200,000 of these monsters were sold. So, Chevy and GM, wanting to keep their customer base, have completely redesigned the Suburban, Tahoe, and Yukon this year. The Suburban and the Tahoe will be available in 3 trims, while the Yukon and Yukon XL will come in 2 trims. All trucks receive a 5.3-liter V8 making 355 horsepower and 383 pound-feet of torque. They come standard with a 6-speed automatic and a choice of rear-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive. The Tahoe is officially rated at 16 miles per gallon in the city and 23 miles per gallon on the highway for rear-wheel drive models. Pricing for the Tahoe starts at $45,595 after destination charges, while a better option Tahoe will start at just over $48,000. The overall look of these trucks hasn't changed all that much, as they retain the same boxy shape as before. Aside from these interesting new headlights, the vehicle isn't as tall as it used to be, but it's longer and wider and has a wider rear track. This gives the SUV an overall more aggressive appearance. These trucks suck gas, a lot of gas, so to help keep fuel economy in check, GM has given the new Tahoe and Yukon an aluminum hood and an aluminum tailgate. As well, the doors are now inlaid within the body instead of resting on top of it, and this makes them both aerodynamic and quieter for the driver inside. The Chevrolet Tahoe has always been about hauling passengers, cargo, and the odd trailer, and now second-row passengers have an extra 2 inches of legroom. In the Suburban, there's 34.5 inches of third-row legroom, and to ensure all passengers are entertained, there can be up to 6 USB outlets, 6 power outlets, and a 3-prong 110-volt outlet. For the first time in their full-size SUVs, GM has included a fold-flat feature for the second and third row of seats. This allows a humongous amount of cargo to be carried in these trucks, nearly 95 cubic feet in the Tahoe and over 121 cubic feet in the Suburban. GM themselves say the Suburban is a minivan for those who won't be caught dead in a minivan. And for those keeping score at home, GM currently doesn't make any minivans, so they can say that. Having spent a lot of time in new GM products and the old Tahoe, I gotta say, they've done a great job with the interior of the Tahoe. It's sort of a new direction that they're gonna take with their SUVs, and I really like what they've done. Of course, like almost everything coming out of Chevy these days, it has a hidden storage compartment behind the screen that is just massive. The second row is really easy to get into, and the extra space that GM has given it is noticeable, and NBA players and offensive linemen will have no problem fitting back there. The most noticeable thing about the new Tahoe from behind the wheel is how much quieter this truck has gotten, but that really shouldn't come as much of a surprise because the new range of Silverado and Sierra trucks are also very quiet. And yes, this is a truck. Those who are sad about all the body-on-frame SUVs turning into soft road crossovers, here is your truck. It has a proper 2-speed transfer case and a trailer brake control integrated into the dashboard with the tow package. And that's an option rarely found on any SUV or crossover. And speaking of towing, this truck can tow 8,600 pounds in 2-wheel drive mode and 8,400 pounds with 4-wheel drive. Okay, I've been beating the fact that this is a truck to death, but don't think it drives like a truck. This is one of the most comfortable highway cruising vehicles I've been in quite some time, and that's saying a lot considering the origins of this vehicle. To use a really tired cliche, it really is like driving your living room down the road. But if you want a little more comfort and luxury, GMC has something for you. This is the Yukon Denali. It has more power and luxury compared to a regular Yukon, and it's designed for people who want a truck that is more premium than a standard model, but not as flashy as the over-the-top Escalade. Compared to the Caddy, this vehicle has a more subdued exterior except for this shiny-ass grille. The cornerstone of the Denali is a 6.2-liter V8 that makes 420 horsepower, and like the Tahoe LTZ, all Denalis come standard with the magnetic ride control suspension, and there's extra sound deadening to make it even quieter in here. Like all Yukons, the Denali comes with a standard rear spoiler and new worm-style screw arms for the liftgate that takes up less space inside. Aside from a larger digital dash in the middle of the gauge cluster and a head-up display, the biggest difference between a regular Tahoe and this Denali is that engine. The power is felt immediately when you get on the throttle, and it just emits a glorious Corvette-inspired V8 noise. Our Denali is equipped with the 22-inch wheels compared to the 20-inch wheels in the Tahoe we drove earlier. Both vehicles have the magnetic ride suspension, and we've noticed this Denali is actually a little rougher on the road thanks to the smaller sidewall in those wheels. The full-size GM SUVs haven't changed that much from the same formula they've been using for decades. Except for a few updates here and there to keep them both modern and more up-to-date, there isn't much that is different in these new full-size trucks. In fact, the segment as a whole hasn't had a groundbreaking change in a long time, and aside from a new engine in the Ford Expedition, most manufacturers have forgotten about these full-size utes. So the fact that GM has brought out new vehicles and they're better is reason enough to celebrate.